On tonight's instant reaction edition of Andy and Ari on 3, presented by BetMGM, Indiana beats Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. Georgia crushes Alabama in the SEC championship game. Texas Tech whips BYU in the Big 12 championship game, and we think Duke beats Virginia in the ACC championship game, but it ain't over yet. So we will talk about all of that, what it means for the college football playoff rankings, what it means for the playoff field. We also will have a pop-in from Miami coach Mario Cristobal, who had a few more points he wanted to make. You'll also hear from Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer about their situation. We did reach out to Marcus Freeman's people. We reached out to Notre Dame, have not heard back, but if he wants to come on during the show, come on, Marcus.
Yeah,
we want to hear from you too.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. That's right now on Andy and Ari on 3, presented by BetMGM. We are presented by BetMGM. We use BetMGM lines and totals, and you can join us by joining BetMGM. If you have not signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code CFB as in college football, CFB, and you'll get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how that works. Download the BetMGM app and sign on using the bonus code CFB. Deposit at least $10 to place your first wager on any game. You'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use the bonus code CFB when you're signing up. So download the app, deposit at least $10, place your first wager, up to $1,500 if your first bet loses. Use the bonus code CFB when you sign up. Make this college football season one for the history books. Make it legendary with BetMGM. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers are not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. Call 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa or 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code CFB and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. Welcome to an instant reaction edition of Andy and Ari on 3, presented by BetMGM. Lots of reasons to be cracking cold Modelo's tonight. Maybe you are a Georgia fan or an Indiana fan celebrating huge wins. Maybe you're an Ohio State fan wondering why Jeremiah Smith was not on the field on a critical third down. I mean, why throw to the best receiver in the world when you could throw it to your backup tight end?
No, I would go I formation a little bit more often if I were them.
Okay. Well, we probably are being a little too harsh because Ohio State's still really good. But I kind of wonder where they wind up in the college football playoff rankings. We're going to try to predict the bracket tonight. We are still waiting on a finish in the ACC championship game. Duke just punted it back to Virginia with 1:44 to go, and Virginia's got 2 timeouts. This sucker's not over yet, folks. So we'll see what happens with that one as well. Virginia, if they win this thing, they are in the college football playoff. Duke, we don't know yet.
This is electric. This is a great day.
What a day. It's incredible.
What a sport. What a day. What a time to be alive. Do you just want to start while this is ending? Let's go right into the game that we just watched.
Yes.
Andy,
let's talk Big Ten.
Can I just ask you a question?
Yes.
Because I know we're going to have to do playoff. We're going to do all that.
Yep.
But I am the ultimate prisoner of the moment. And
yes.
I have to ask this. I maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
What coaching job since the year 2000 has anybody done a better job than Curt Cignetti in the first 2 years?
No one, because Nick Saban's was great in year 2, but it really wasn't that good in year 1, and Cignetti was 11-1 and made the playoff in year
also
1.
Considering the starting point.
Correct.
Like
going to a program that was a historical loser, bringing players from your G5 school to stock the roster. I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And calling your shot right when you got there, too.
Google me. I win.
Like everybody's like, all right, bro, just relax, dude. You're at Indiana. And then like 2 years later, it's not that they won the game tonight. I actually feel like even if they would have lost by 3, I would have felt the same way. Yeah, because
you would have said, oh, okay, they can hang.
Athletically.
But I will tell you, what we saw tonight makes me excited for the college football playoff because Ohio State did not look like a super team. Now Indiana looked amazing.
Yeah.
Indiana could win the whole thing. I'm not trying to denigrate Indiana here. What I'm saying is the way Georgia looked today, the way some of these other teams have looked down the stretch, there's a good chance this could be a fun college football playoff where there's no presumptive winner.
If your goal for today was let's leave Saturday with a playoff field that makes it the most possible intrigue-wise.
Yes.
In terms of who could win or how, I mean, that couldn't have played out better if you're one of those people.
Exactly.
I think that Indiana now should be viewed as the favorite. Now, Georgia played a really great game today. That has to be acknowledged.
Indiana had the best regular season in the nation. They beat what we thought was the best team in the country. They have the best win now of anybody.
Yeah, number 1 overall seed without question, right?
No, there's no debate.
So
that's an easy one. But the Curt Cignetti question, like he's absolutely ruined it for every new coach. Every coach who gets hired now and is like, hey guys, I'm going to need a couple years to get this thing really rolling. I'm going to have to get my people in here. No, because everybody's going to go, well, Curt Cignetti did it in Indiana. Why can't you do it here?
He literally made a team at Indiana that 2 years didn't just win the Big Ten, but like went right through Ohio State, who, by the way,
won at
loaded.
Oregon and beat Ohio State in the championship game.
Yeah, but like to be long on that field, like that should have been impossible.
Right.
That isn't even something that you should have been able to do.
Penn State, which obviously is not as big of a deal because of the circumstances with Penn State. But if we'd have told you at the beginning of the year, Indiana's going to win at Oregon, win at Penn State, and beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, even after seeing what we saw last year, I would have been very skeptical.
And I think that there's only one other coaching scenario that comes to mind, and that would be Dabo Swinney's build of Clemson.
But that took time.
That took time. I mean, like in terms of how quickly this happened, of course not. But, turning a good team into a juggernaut, I think, is also, but Indiana could literally win the national title this year.
Absolutely. So, they are so good. And you saw it tonight going against what we thought were the best collection of athletes in the country. They have a really tough third down situation in the red zone. And Fernando Mendoza to Elijah Surratt. I mean, they had their quarterback, their Heisman Trophy candidate, throwing to their best receiver.
Yeah.
Which Ohio State had some of the time, but not in a critical third down in the red zone the next time they faced one.
Yeah, when you said that Curt Cignetti ruined it for everybody, I had a poor Nebraska fan retweet me and go, "It's okay, guys. We'll get them in year 26 of rebuilding." It's just like
terrible.
It's like, but everybody looks at their coach like they're a loser because of Curt Cignetti.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how successful they've been or what they've done. Like, this is the type of rebuild. Like, you want to know a real actual like moment of thought that I had today, and it wasn't in the shower.
Shocking.
Was that a large portion of our jobs, like I look back at this today, and in like the 2015, 16, 17 era, I became a national writer in 2019. So for the first 2 or 3 years of that, and the majority of my entire professional life covering Ohio State.
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. Duke DB just knocked away a pass that might have set Virginia up for a touchdown that would have tied it.
Yeah.
I didn't even knock it away. That just went right through his hands. Oh my. What a night this has been. I'm sorry.
I don't even remember where I was.
On.
What was I saying?
The build.
Oh, that like a large portion of our job was to, as a national reporter, and I'm sure you felt this way longer than me, was there was almost like a sort of sense of pretending that certain teams or places could be something when there was a steel
very
shield,
clearly established hierarchy.
The hierarchy where it's like, okay, well, you're going to write a cool story about like the build at Team X, and it's like you're trying to sell a vision. Like I remember I went to North Carolina when Mac Brown, thank you, was there his first year, and they were like explaining their recruiting philosophy, and it's like, wow, man, if they really do this, like they can convince you. And it's like, well, no matter what Mac Brown does, like, are they ever going to beat Alabama? No. Right. Like, that's insane. No one. And like now we are actually in a period of time where a coach can take over at Indiana and in 2 years build a team that can go into Indianapolis and honestly out physical Ohio State on a neutral
There's no
field.
Question they did.
Like, that is possible. So like if you're an Indiana like hater, or you're a person that doubted that was possible, I certainly was one of them. this is a new day. And I think it's a new day for everybody who roots for a team that isn't in that hierarchy or isn't in that group of cool kids that sit at the lunch table who collect all the national champions. Like, if you don't have to be Ohio State, you don't have to be Alabama, you don't have to be Georgia, you don't have to be anybody anymore, but a program with a good coach and a vision that can execute it to actually get through the top. And I actually think this might be one of the most significant days of college football in my entire life. Like, am I overthinking that?
No. What Indiana has done is incredible. This is a team that if this had happened 5 or 10 years ago, there is no way what he's done could have happened. Like, prior to the transfer rules changing, and that's the big thing here. The NIL helps too. But prior to the transfer rules changing, this never could have happened. He could not have gotten that roster where it was so quickly.
But like, Vanderbilt is kind of on the cusp of that.
Yes.
You know, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like to me they're going to be in the playoff. But they also won 10 games in the SEC and beat the crap out of a lot of really good teams, including their rival. You know, you don't have to be a team that has a history. Like, Indiana doesn't have a football.
Oh, they
history.
have a history.
It's
a history
bad.
of losing.
Yeah,
they're the second losing program of all time.
So, like, you know, if you're a fan of TCU today, or you're a fan of Minnesota, or you're a fan of NC State, or whatever other random team that I can come up with.
If Indiana can do it,
if Indiana can do it,
yeah.
And that's a powerful message.
Yeah.
And like, I think I'm going to write that tonight. Like, that's a pretty unbelievable turnaround. And like, I think that the actual, like, the reaction that the audience is trying, or probably here to hear, is like, well, what does this mean for Ohio State? Have we been wrong about how good they are all year? And I think there's going to be plenty of time to litigate that over the course of the next few weeks. Like, Indiana, like, deserves every bit of acknowledgement on this show right now in this moment, because I think that's one of the most significant things that I've ever seen in terms of the change of the hierarchy of the sport, or like, you want to talk about a parity system? People used to roll your eyes about the notion of parity in college football. We literally just watched it happen for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Like, Michigan winning the national championship 3 years ago felt like an underdog story. Michigan.
Yeah. Right.
Like, think about this.
This is the underdog story. And
yeah.
Now Kurt Signetti doesn't want to hear that. He said it before the game. The interview, I believe, with Jenny Taft before the game, he said, this is not an underdog situation. This is a clash of titans. And he was right. It was a high-level game, very physical. Both defenses played really well. Both defenses limited the offenses.
The ACC title is coming down to this play right now, too. So
yes, we got a 4th and 4 for Virginia, 32 seconds to go. Virginia has 1 timeout, so they don't have to score here. They do have to move the chains, though. Duke has lived dangerously here in these last minutes.
Could you imagine being a coach just having to look to the other sideline and just like look at that lettuce that
at Manny Diaz with that beard?
That beard,
his playoff beard.
Handsome man, dude.
That's what he called it.
All right, so let's just, these eyes. First down.
First down.
Okay.
Virginia stays alive for a little bit longer.
You know what happens, Andy? Just so you understand this, and I want you to be like really aware of what's at stake here. That if this game goes to overtime, that we have to vamp throughout the entire overtime, because there's no way that we can
have
end
a lot.
Okay.
Touchdown!
Oh, what a catch.
Is he going to go for 2 here? Or is he going to send it overtime?
Not in the ACC championship, right?
That was wild. I think you go to overtime here.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What a night this has been.
The guy who caught its last name is Wood. That seems pretty appropriate. Sorry, Andy. I can't help who I am.
I know you too well.
Yeah,
I know you.
I can't. So, it's almost midnight.
They are kicking the extra point, so they're playing for overtime here. He stepped out of bounds.
Okay,
he stepped out of bounds, but did he reestablish? I think as long as you reestablish or you were pushed out. Yeah, he's reestablished. Both feet back in.
Yeah.
Right?
I have to go to the. I mean, the cool thing about the ACC is that
they let you hear it.
Let you hear it, but are they reviewing it?
I don't think so. And the official did throw his hat, didn't he?
No, they're kicking the extra point.
Point. So
what was the next part of the show? Do you want to talk 2 minutes about Ohio State?
Well, we can talk about let's talk about Ohio State, and I kind of feel like we should play Kalen DeBoer and Mario Cristobal and talk about their arguments. We're going to talk about Ohio State first.
Okay, let's talk about Ohio State first. We'll go in succession here because we did have a 25-minute video about those two earlier.
We'll point that out. So we did instant reaction shows after the Big 12 championship game where we talked Texas Tech and BYU. We also talked after the Georgia-Bama game, and we didn't talk a lot about Georgia. So if you're looking for those, they're on the On3 Sports YouTube page. They're also in the podcast feed. We didn't talk much about Georgia because Georgia looked like a national title contender, I think they're probably going to be the 2 seed now, and they're not playing again for 3 weeks. And we're going to talk about them potentially winning the national title a lot.
Yeah, we have a lot of we've had a lot of shows and a lot of airtime to be filled.
We talked a lot about Alabama though today, because obviously their spot in the field feels like it is very much in danger.
Yes. Yeah, so. Which is, as you zoom out and kind of like think that through a little bit more, the Alabama thing was like, well, if they get blown out, maybe. And then like you were watching the game, and then the reality of that started to set in of like, this is actually
they're getting blown out.
Yeah, like this is actually happening. So we have to start thinking about that a little bit more.
But let's talk Ohio State, because obviously people will seize on the final score of 13-10.
Yeah.
That was
a pretty significant score.
The last game they lost 13-10.
Yeah.
That was to Michigan last year. Now, this Indiana team, significantly better.
Yeah, like this isn't confusing.
Exponentially better.
It's kind of confusing. Yeah. It's not confusing. Like when they lost to Michigan last time, like the last time they lost, which was 17 games ago, I think.
Yeah.
That was one of the single most shocking results of a football game I've ever seen in my entire life. This was Indiana's awesome. So here's the thing. I don't think I've changed my mind on who I'm picking to win the national title. Have you?
No, because I think Ohio State needed to lose that Michigan game to kind of figure some things out.
Yeah.
Like, what happened tonight for Ohio State? 3rd and 1, or it was a 3rd and goal. It was.
Which one are you? What play sequence are you referring to?
I am referring to the sequence near the end before the missed field goal.
Oh yeah, it was 3rd and 1.
3rd and 1. And so you go with a pretty heavy package, but even with a pretty heavy package, if you're planning to throw the ball, number 4 should be on the field. He was not on the field.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith was not on the field.
Yeah, and there's
so
a lot
to a backup tight end.
Ohio State was deep inside the 5-yard line, or they were in the red zone deep twice at the end of the game, and they had a 4th down that was reviewed, and 4th and goal that was reviewed, or 4th down that would have been 1st and goal reviewed that got overturned, and they were short, and then they got deep down and missed that field goal. I think that Jeremiah Smith should be on every high leverage snap on the field, no matter what the down distances or where it is.
Right. Because the defense has to worry about him. Imagine being part of the Indiana defense and looking out there, they didn't even put 4 on the field. We don't have to worry about him.
Yeah. But I did see a lot of like Ohio State hasn't played anybody. Ohio State, this is the first time they actually got tested by a good team.
Which is
all
fair.
True. And I think that it calls into question, is their offense actually good enough? And that might sound crazy because they have Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and Max Clare and Brandon Innes and all those players on the outside. But I thought Indiana's defensive line beat up on Ohio State's offensive line for most of that game.
I thought Bo Jackson ran pretty well.
If you go back and you look at the very first thoughts piece that I did this season, I asked a question after Ohio State beat Texas. Does Ohio State have the running back or the run game to win high leverage games at the end of the year? And I would be afraid of that. So, like, there are certain ways. Like, I think that Indiana showed you the blueprint.
Right.
Because if you get after Julian Sand, who, by the way, in this game was the first time he's ever been in a game down in the 4th quarter in his entire collegiate career, which, well,
and that's the thing. So, that's important to have been through that experience. And most quarterbacks by this point, even in their first season as starter, have been through that experience. And so it was something you worried about because you hadn't seen him in that.
And it just kind of like strikes me, and like, I don't want to be
now you have
cliche, but like, I wonder if you look back at this and go, well, thankfully they got one out of their system before they go on their run. And it kind of is similar to last year. Now, last year's was different because losing to Michigan wasn't just learning from a loss. It was a humiliating depancement of like your pride.
This was not that.
This wasn't that. And like, if you're like making Ryan Day Michigan jokes right now, like they just lost to a good team. And Andy, I think that like 18 game, 17 game winning streaks aren't going to be happening very much moving forward. And eventually teams do have to lose. And like Indiana is still unbeaten. If Indiana wins the national championship, I'll be wrong. But going wire to wire in a season like this with a playoff like this, I think it's going to be increasingly difficult. And it just kind of like eventually you're going to get beaten. So that said, if you are somebody who is questioning Ohio State or don't think that they're as elite as we've thought they are, I think that is a fair criticism and a fair thing to ask.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. We're going to find out. They're probably let's do the top of the bracket.
Okay.
And we'll come back to the bottom because I think the bottom is going to be the controversial part. And we honestly don't know what's happening with Virginia and Duke yet.
You're the star of the show and the host.
Please.
Do you want to do the Mario Notre Dame discussion first and then build our bracket?
We can.
We can't. And then we have to decide. I don't want to start building
Well,
our
what I'm
bracket
saying is
now.
we've talked to Ohio State and Georgia.
Okay.
And this is the first part's easy.
Okay. Indiana's 1.
Indiana's 1.
I would put Georgia 2.
Georgia 2. Ohio State 3. Texas Tech 4.
Tech 4 would be my top 4.
Yes. Those are your buys.
And I think that is fairly non-controversial, right?
Yeah. I don't think
that's
there's gonna be a problem.
because Georgia's wins now.
Yep.
Georgia only has 1 loss and they've got better wins. So it's a no-brainer, right?
Yes. This is easy.
Yeah. This is, and then Texas Tech is a 1-loss conference
Correct.
champ. Okay.
Oregon will be 5 because that's where they've had Oregon.
Yeah.
With this group.
Oregon
above them. Oregon will be 5.
Ole Miss should be 6.
Ole Miss will be 6.
A&M should be 7.
A&M will be 7. Oklahoma will be 8.
And now this
And
is
then
where
we'll
we get
stop.
into murky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, the last 3 spots is 45 minutes. like that's
The
not
last
like,
4 spots.
Yeah, the last 4 spots. Bad at Math podcast. But so we're in OT here. Why don't we get into the Mario Cristobal segment?
Let's start with Kalen DeBoer.
Okay, yes.
So Kalen DeBoer, Alabama came in ranked number 9 in the most recent playoff selection committee rankings. They got beat 28-7. They did not look good in this game. I will point out, and you'll hear Kalen DeBoer point this out, they did go for it deep in their own territory because he's trying to win the freaking game, and that gave Georgia another touchdown. They could have just punted there.
By the way,
but they didn't. They were trying to win the game.
Let's give the committee some credit here. I know it's been a pretty easy punching bag scenario. They watched the game.
They did.
Like
watch
that
the
last
game.
touchdown didn't do anything. Like that. Like
right. They know
the score looks worse, but if they watched the game,
they know
they
it
saw,
wasn't close.
Yeah, we didn't like. So that's not going to, in my opinion,
so after
be a
the
thing.
game, Kalen DeBoer was asked about Alabama's case for the playoff. Here's Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, Kalen, what is your pitch for why you're still a playoff team?
Well, I think you look at the games that we played throughout the season, but if you're really looking at this game, I mean, it was a 14-point game with 7.5 minutes to go. We had the ball. I mean, there you can look at things that didn't go well. We gave them 4 short fields. And again, I don't want to take anything away from what Georgia did, right? The field position battle is part of it. But gave them 4 short fields. I mean, that's a testament to our defense being resilient. And, one of those touchdowns, I mean, if we're really worried about the score, then probably punt it on your own 11, right? But I'm here to win an SEC championship. I'm not here to, if you lose by 1 or you lose by more, it's still a loss. And that's what I was caring about. We're here to win an SEC championship. We can't get worried about how much did we lose by or that was what it was about. And we're here to win. That's how we play. And again, it was a 14-point game. We have the ball with 7.5 minutes to go, against a really good team that knows us well and we know them well. I thought our defense did a heck of a job going against them. One thing we didn't really do was take the ball off them, and the 1 turnover they got helps up, and again, a short field. So again, that's football. But that's the way I looked at this game. And if this game applies to and takes away from our resume, I don't think that's right. I really don't. I think the precedent's been set, and I don't know how you can go into a conference playoff game when you're the number 1 seed and did all these things throughout the year, and playing in this game against one of the top teams in the country as well, how that can hurt you and keep you out of the playoff when, again, we've done what we've done all year.
That's Kalen DeBoer. Okay, Duke is on the goal line, 2nd and goal. We'll let you know what happened because obviously no matter what they do, Virginia is going to get the ball as well. So we'll find out what happens here. Darian Mintz is back to throw. He is in trouble. He just threw a touchdown pass. Or was he out of bounds? What do we got? Out of bounds. 3rd and goal.
Yeah.
This may get reviewed.
Yeah.
So while all that happens, let us hear from Mario Cristobal, who reached out to Ari and I tonight. That's not a catch. Reached out to Ari and I tonight and said, hey, I got some more points I'd like to make. You saw him on the show on Monday. He's back. Here's Mario Cristobal. So we aren't the only people who've been watching games today. Miami head coach Mario Cristobal also watching games. And what have you thought so far? As we record this for the audience, it is this third quarter of the ACC and Big Ten championship games. We've seen the SEC and we've seen the Big 12.
I don't know where to start. I mean, there's obviously a lot of great play out there. Then some other, you look at teams and how they've been playing down the stretch. You could tell who's getting better and who maybe is now playing at their best at this time of year. So I think it's just watching it all. It gets me very enthused and confident how we're going to be viewed as it relates to the committee's decision.
As a coach, just sitting there, I don't think there's a lot of Saturdays where you get to be like us. It's like watching the games and taking them in. Like, what are the emotions like for you with so much riding on the line and, just watching these games? I'm sure you formulate opinions the way that we do, like everyone else does. Like, what's it like just being in this position, just kind of watching the games?
Yeah, you always want to be playing, and I think hopefully by this time next year, we'll be in a situation where we're playing really well and getting better, and that the tiebreaker system could be something that makes a little bit more sense. In the meantime, certainly you wish the best for the teams that are playing, but you also assess your situation, and you either get confirmation that you should be in or you shouldn't be in. And I'm just taking notes all day. I'm cutting up tape because there's a lot of good stuff you want to use, maybe some stuff you don't want to use, some fake opportunities that were both good and bad. And at the end, like my final notes here as I'm, deep into this stuff is we certainly are one of the best 8-10 teams in the country.
So is that frustrating for you to have to be here watching it instead of playing it? Because you had a couple of games where a play or two either way, you would have been playing in Charlotte right now, and we're probably not needing to have this conversation.
Yeah, but you know what? It is what it is, and it's at where it's at. And that being said, it also, gives us time to just really assess and strengthen our case, which, I never looked at it as a case. I thought last year, we had to get in a debate last year because we lost our last game. A lot of other teams had some really solid points as well. And it's like, all right, this is like going to court here. We're going to have to really bust our butt and see who has the best way to prove that they belong. And this year, it's kind of one of those, come on, man, the information's right there. And the only information that I wish had just a louder voice and just really hit the audience a little bit stronger was the fact that down the stretch, I don't know who's really playing better football than us.
Well, it's interesting because there's been this debate between you guys and Notre Dame, and the people who have been for Notre Dame have said, well, they have won 10 in a row. They have been better, as the season has gone on. And Miami had the period where they had the two losses in the middle. But then, unlike last year, you guys did get better through November. And so where do you think you are right now? This team, it's going to play another game. We don't know if it's going to be playoff game, bowl game, what it's going to be. But where will you be when you take the field next? Where is this team competitively?
This team is a playoff team, and not only a playoff team, but a team that can go deep and actually play for a national championship because of our depth, because of how balanced we are. And, and look, and I know we've been compared to Notre Dame. We've been going back and forth, and that's the big discussion. And I think they're a heck of a team, and they did get a lot better. But, that 10-game win streak, that's 2 group of 5s, right? Then 8 Power 4s, where 6 of those 8, their defenses are ranked 105, 117, 121, 123, 127, 129. And resume building against that is different than playing Miami, where your top player rushes for 33 yards, right? Where the defensive line gives the offensive line all they can handle. And then you look at us down the stretch right here, common opponents. We certainly were significantly better against those common opponents. And our scoring defense is 2. Our scoring offense is 8. We're number 1 in sacks. We're number 1 in TFLs. Number 2 in turnover margin. Like, we're playing significantly better than we were when we were number 2 in the country. So that is something I think has been overlooked a little bit. I mean, it's in all that information in the hands of the committee, but that is like as clear and as strong as anything that we have done. And it needs to be brought to the table because I think everyone needs to see that and hear that.
I like the case that you made there, Mario, and to the risk of sounding like a sideline reporter. If you had the floor in the committee's room tonight, not that you would be able to, but if you got to walk in there and be like, hey, here's my 30 to 45 second spiel on what you need to do. Like, how would you address them and what would you lead with?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't even be on with you guys or even think about contesting anything if I was on the losing end of the game against Notre Dame. I want to be honest here. I have no case, right? Because settled on the field, but by their own criteria, okay? No labels, logos, none of that. All that put aside. By their own criteria, head-to-head, common opponents, identical records, and identical metrics, and back again to head-to-head while playing our best football. I mean, those are all the things that 1 through 5 top the list as it relates to criteria. So we're knocking it out the park in that.
You're probably going to get drawn into a comparison with another team that was 10-2 in the regular season, but did earn a chance to play in its conference championship game. That's Alabama. How do you feel like you stack up against them?
Well, I think, I haven't studied them much. I know that we do have a common opponent. Florida State really dominated them game 1. And we had a significant victory against Florida State earlier in the season. So we have that in common. And I know that the committee and we all value like who's really playing well down the stretch. And I think, I don't know if you compare the last 4 games that they've played versus, some of the other teams in the field, there's a pretty significant difference there as well.
Well, Mario, it's been good seeing you a couple times this week. We will be watching the same TV show you will tomorrow, and good luck.
Thanks for being here.
Okay, you got it, guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Mario.
Good luck.
All right, so while we were talking to Mario, Duke won the game. Converted a 4th and 1 or 4th and goal. Great throw on 4th and goal. Great play call. And then they get a pick on Virginia's first play, I believe. Duke wins.
I'm kind of in shock because in decades of playing out disaster chaos scenarios that never come true, this one kind of did.
It did. It did. Oh, I want to point out before we go on, we're going to talk a lot more about Duke and that situation. We did reach out to Notre Dame. We did not hear back because we figured we got some Kalen DeBoer sound. We talked to Mario Cristobal. We wanted to hear from Marcus Freeman as well. They did not respond.
But I should probably say that they should probably feel pretty good.
I think they should feel better than Alabama or Miami right now.
Notre Dame needed a bunch of stuff to happen today, and I think everything that they needed.
Everything that happened helped Notre Dame. I think.
We think.
But we'll talk about the Alabama part of it all. But first, let's talk about Duke beating Virginia in the ACC title game. And I want to bring you back to Wednesday's show. We had Manny Diaz on the show. And I wasn't sure how he was going to respond to this because I wasn't sure what he was thinking in terms of what would happen if they won. Because they are a 5-loss team. It was Wednesday, so the rankings had come out. We knew James Madison had been ranked 25 and Duke's not ranked. So James Madison did win the Sun Belt title. They didn't play that well against Troy, but they did win the Sun Belt title, and they already were ranked higher. They're 12-1 to finish the season. Duke is 8-5 now. They're the ACC champ. James Madison's the Sun Belt champ. The top 5 highest ranked champions get in. This is one you guys who watch the show know this, but the casuals in your lives, you got to explain it to them. It is not necessarily the 4 power conference champions get in and then the highest ranked group of 5. It's just the 5 highest ranked conference champs. So we don't know whether it's going to be Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Tulane, Duke, or Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Tulane, James Madison.
So, where's your head?
Let's hear Manny Diaz before.
Yeah, good call, dude. What is Duke's best case for college football playoff inclusion with a win on Saturday?
I would say this. The Atlantic Coast Conference champion will always be in the college football playoff. It's going to happen this year, regardless of what happens on Saturday. It's going to happen every year. That's just the way it's going to happen. We have 4 Power 4 conferences. The competition in this Power 4 conferences is unlike the competition in anywhere else. That's not to disrespect really good teams that are not in the Power 4 conferences, of which we played 2 this year and lost 2 this year. But week in and week out, in terms of who you play and how you have to prepare, that's why there's a difference. That's why it's called the Power 4. And for us,
so you don't.
Go ahead.
So you don't think that you need to make a case? Like you're in your mind if you win?
Not today. Not today. The case we have to make is on Saturday night at 8:00. That's all I'm concerned about right now. It'd be foolish for me to start making a case other than the fact that we have to beat Virginia. But just the fact that we'd have beaten Virginia would be better than any other win that could be compared from anybody that we're in any hypothetical argument against. So that's why all of our focus right now is worrying about beat Virginia. We'll let the politicking take care of itself after that.
So I do think we'll probably hear a lot of politicking from Manny Diaz in his post-game press conference, which he hasn't gone to yet. He did get interviewed on the field there.
Yeah, well, if that's any indication of what he's gonna have them loaded in the holster there.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna come out.
He's got a plan. Now, you asked me, what do I think is going to happen? The committee feels like they've told us what's going to happen. They ranked James Madison, and they didn't rank Duke. Now, this is the part we keep talking about. We would prefer if they would rank them out to 40 or 50, so we know where Duke's trying to come from. Because if Duke was 49, I don't think they're going to get up there.
So that's the thing. We don't know how far Duke was ranked, right?
We don't know how far they needed to climb to get to one spot ahead of James Madison.
But what we do know is the teams that have been flirting around the top 25 who have been in and out, and they all are 3-loss, 4-loss teams. 5 losses could be in the 30s,
could be in the 40s,
could be in the 40s,
could be in the 50s.
So the question is, with the way that these rules are put in place and the way that we view power champions, is winning tonight and winning the ACC enough for you to potentially vault up 20 spots?
Right. There's no also receiving votes, but I will point out number 23 is Iowa. Now, Iowa's 8-4, but Iowa's 4 losses are Indiana, Oregon, Iowa State, and USC.
Yeah. And
very different. So Duke has a loss to a playoff team. That's Tulane. But they've also lost to Illinois. They've lost to UConn. They lost to Virginia, which they avenged. I'm blanking on the last one.
So that's I mean, who they lost to with the way that they lost to Illinois and stuff, like, I mean, I don't know that there's a case to be made here by sifting through the losses. There's 5 of them.
Right.
But if you can avenge
Georgia Tech, that's the other one.
If you can avenge one,
yep,
then that makes them more of a 4-team loss in my mind, or 4-loss team in my mind. Plus you add the ACC title. Is the power conference always going to win out?
Right. And one of the G5 games they lost is to a playoff team. Is to Tulane, which is in the playoff.
Yeah. So here's a comment that we had here in the super chat. There's no way the ACC is going to be shut out of the college football playoff, right? That means either Duke or Miami should probably make it.
That is the right way to address it. That's the right way to ask the question, because it is an interesting question. And you could see that where the committee could just say, hey, we're going to put Miami in at 9 or 10 and just leave Duke out and put James Madison in at 12.
Right. And I think that solves your ACC problem.
But I don't think that's a problem. It's not the committee's responsibility to put an ACC team in.
I agree. So we were talking about this while Mario Cristobal was talking out in the hallway here. And there is 2 schools of thought on this. One, which is, I can't believe people actually think that they're going to leave the ACC champ out. That's one side of it. The other side is, James Madison was already in the top 25 on Tuesday. They won their conference.
If they hadn't put them in the top 25, we would have no idea if they were 26 or 49.
Exactly. So now we do know that.
Yep.
So the question will remain, and I don't think that you're going to find anybody online. Everybody's got a take on this. And I don't think that we're one of these people, these shows that tries to tell you, hey, you're an idiot. You don't know. We don't know this.
I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
So whether
Manny Diaz thinks he does, but I don't.
We don't know. And there's no way to quantify that for you. So what do you think? Do you think that James Madison, a 1-loss
their
G5
losses to
champ,
Louisville, and their losses to Power Conference team they played.
Wait, is that a good loss or a bad loss?
According to the chat, it's a terrible loss.
Okay, because Miami is a bad loss.
Yeah, it's the worst loss ever. Yeah,
that would be wild.
It's a disqualifying loss according to the chat.
Yeah, there's some galaxy brain stuff there where if Miami gets in and JMU gets in, then maybe the Louisville loss isn't as bad. I don't know, because they have a common opponent.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Who are you going to put in? You write a prediction every.
I have not decided yet.
Okay, so we'll let the show.
I might
go
flip.
on.
I gotta be honest, I might flip a coin.
Yeah.
Here's where I'm leaning. I'm leaning toward James Madison for what I just said. If they hadn't ranked them on Tuesday, we wouldn't know if they were 26 or 49, and they could have just slid Duke in, and we wouldn't have said. Duke.
Yeah.
But since they put him at 25, are they going to drop him for winning their conference championship game?
Look
and then put Duke in at 24?
They were balling tonight.
Yeah.
I
do think Tulane will move up.
Yeah.
I think the way Tulane dominated North Texas will make them move up.
You would find this funny. I put it up there for you. Billy Napier has had James Madison in the playoff conversation 24 hours into the job. Did Florida make the right choice?
I don't know why you paid $10 for that. I would have put that up for free. That was amazing. That was amazing.
Thank you for supporting the show.
Yes.
And then, we have some other ones that maybe we can re-highlight later when I don't want to derail the show.
Yeah.
But, so we don't know. You don't know. We all have opinions. The best thing about, what is it, noon Eastern tomorrow?
But that is not the committee will decide that, and either the Duke fan base will be celebrating or super pissed, or the James Madison fan base will be celebrating or super pissed. I don't think anybody else is going to be that worried about it.
Do you think that whatever the decision is here will have any impact on the more pertinent one?
I am glad you asked the question that way, because if the committee is doing the more deserving, let's look at the strength of record and all this stuff, then they will put James Madison in. In which case, they will also probably put Alabama in as an at-large. If the committee is doing which teams do we think will do better in the college football playoff? Like, which team at number 12 has the better chance of actually competing with number 5? The team that has the NFL quarterback and just won a power conference, or the team that lost its only power conference game and kind of struggled against Troy in its conference championship game?
Is there a world where
who can go to Eugene and actually not get their doors blown off?
Man, has there ever been?
They'll probably both get their doors.
Has there ever been another team or scenario where it could either be two teams from a conference in or none in the night before? It's kind of wild, isn't it?
2014.
Oh yeah,
TCU and Baylor.
Well, they both weren't going to get in.
They both could have gotten in, depending on the results. So
okay,
if Ohio State had lost the Big Ten championship game, they both would have gotten in.
Now, is there a scenario where Duke makes it and Miami doesn't?
Yes.
And then is it there? Yeah, there's all these scenarios.
Yeah, the scenario for that one is they just flip-flop Notre Dame and Alabama again. Notre Dame's 9, Bama's 10.
Yeah.
And Bama's in. That's the one where Duke could get in, Miami couldn't. There's also a scenario where no ACC teams get in. That's what we just talked about. Because after the Texas Tech BYU game, we were talking about, okay, Miami's probably going to get compared directly to Notre Dame now, because we didn't think Alabama was going to get dominated. But since Alabama got dominated, Alabama's going to drop. It's just a matter of whether they drop 1 spot or 2 spots. And I'll point out last year, because we keep saying last year, the losing teams in the conference championship games were like, they didn't get punished. They did get punished in the rankings. They just didn't fall out of the field. So Texas lost to Georgia and fell 1 spot. Penn State lost to Oregon and fell 1 spot. SMU lost to Clemson and fell 2 spots. But
none of the games were blowouts either. Though.
Right. SMU went from 8 to 10, which didn't knock them out of the field. The cut line is at 10 this year. If Alabama, which was 9 to start the day, drops 2 spots, they're out.
Okay, so we're at the point in the show, I think, where we need to start putting rubber to pavement here.
Mm-hmm.
We have 4 spots to fill.
Okay.
Well, I'll help you. I'm not going to be part of the written byline, but I'll help you.
We just filled 8.
Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah, we'll start from the beginning. So to review, Indiana number 1, Georgia number 2, Ohio State 3, Texas Tech 4, Oregon 5, Ole Miss 6, Texas A&M 7, Oklahoma 8, and now here we are.
And now we did have some people in the chat, and I want to review this because this is important. But there were people talking about the order of Ole Miss, A&M, and Oregon. But like, we are just going based off of the way they already ranked all these teams in the middle, and why would we change it? None of them played and nothing happened around them to change it. I don't think so.
Right.
Like we're the middle of the 8 ranking of the 8 teams you just ranked there are the same.
Yeah,
as last week.
I've expressed my doubts about Oregon and Ole Miss and their resumes, but the committee has done what they've done, and I don't think they're going to change that.
Yeah, right. You want to know what like unsung hero river is? The lights behind us are motion activated, and this guy just got up and ran over there.
They keep going off.
Look
So
at
River
Oh,
Boy's
River
waving.
Boy.
Hey!
But so now we're down to the final 4, which is 9, 10, 11, and 12. Andy, who do you think is going to be number 9?
Miami. I think they will put Miami and Notre Dame side by side, finally, and they'll just go, oh, wait, Miami beat them. I think Miami will be number 9.
I need a cigarette.
I figured you'd like that.
I'm like, I need a full menthol.
Okay.
Okay. Number 10.
Notre Dame.
Number 11.
In the rankings or in the seedings?
In the rankings.
In the rankings would be Alabama,
Okay.
which would put them out.
Yep.
Tulane would be your number 11.
And then number
Seeded
12.
Number 12 seeded team.
Can you hear that on the mic?
I'm going to go. Involved.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be the
It's
James
whether
Madison Dukes or the Duke Blue Devils.
I feel like we're in a moment right now. I'm like looking into your eyes. It's
I don't
kinda
know
nice.
what to say.
I'm going to say it.
Duke. 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 Duke.
I think it's going to be James Madison.
I think it's going to be Duke.
I don't think they're going to jump 20 spots.
Should we bet?
I mean, I guess I already have to run 5 miles in Miami. I think it's going to be James Madison.
Double or nothing. If it's James
I'm not running
Madison-
10 miles. No.
No.
Okay. Sorry. No.
All right.
Yeah.
No, okay. If
Okay. Yeah. I'll run 5.5.
If it's James Madison, you don't have to run. If it's Duke, it's 5.5. All right.
730 votes, 80% James Madison.
In our poll in the
Andy,
chat.
we have to acknowledge this because I've seen a lot of this, and I don't even know what
Okay.
the comment is. It's a $20 super chat with a Longhorns logo.
have.
Texas resume is so much better than Notre Dame and Miami. Strength of schedule 8 versus 40, 2 losses, 2 to 3 ranked teams. And yes, Florida was bad, but resume speaks for itself with the quality wins. Is there any hope for Texas to emerge from the grave like a bat out of hell?
I say this as a proud University of Florida alumnus. You lost to Billy Napier. You're out.
I appreciate the support of the show, and thank you so much for the super chat. There's nothing that I can say to help this.
Yes.
They're out. There's too many good teams ahead of them. I think this is a 2-loss.
But they
team
do have good.
discussion,
I mean,
so-
they beat Texas A&M and Oklahoma. They
Yeah,
have
no, I
good
mean,
wins.
Texas has a great resume, and I actually was sitting next to a really cool dude on the airplane on the way in here who recognized the show, and he was a Texas fan, and he was talking to me about the non-conference stuff, and I am so torn on this Texas thing, Andy, because on one hand, they are being penalized for losing to Ohio State. On the other hand, that's why you schedule the games and play the games.
Yep.
And if the response to this is we're not going to play any big time non-conference games anymore, then you're going to remove the properties that the television companies pay billions of dollars for and then usher into your paycheck. That's just part of the game. And sometimes it's going to fall your way and sometimes you're going to get that win and it's going to help you get in.
Yeah.
But I can feel remorseful on one hand and understand why they're out on the other. And that's kind of where I am with it.
You lost to Billy Napier. I really don't have to go much further than
So,
that. Question from Charles in the chat. How does the 13-0 FSU team not make it because they lost to QB? Again, I've told you a million times this week, it's not because they lost Jordan Travis. It's because they were going to do that to you anyway.
man, I don't know if I agree with that, but
They were going to do that to Florida State anyway. They were going to put Alabama in over them all along. All right. But Ole Miss has 2 losses and lost their coach, but are in. Make it make sense. I'm not an FSU fan. I'll make it make sense. Ole Miss has 1 loss.
Hey, check this out, Andy from Spider.
May need to Google the record before asking the question. Go ahead with Spider.
Not sure if you guys heard enough, but thank you guys for putting in all the work on the show. Enjoy
Woo!
every episode. Thank you. You don't see
Thank
that.
you,
And thank you.
And send that to producer River, who works harder than both of us.
Yeah.
We just stand up here and talk.
We're taking him to Burger King for dinner tomorrow to celebrate.
Yes.
Him, so, yeah. Yeah. Okay. And you know what, Andy? You didn't ask me my opinion, but I'm going to give it to
Go
you.
for it.
Outside of the final spot, I'm with you. I think Alabama's out.
You think it goes? Does it matter what order Notre Dame and Miami are in to you?
I think if they're going to do it, I mean, Miami doesn't care if they're in. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't think either
if
team.
Notre Dame is 9 and Miami's 10. Miami's not complaining about that.
Imagine arguing about seeding after the last month we've all had together. I actually think that this is what makes the most sense.
So, pointing out,
that's what's going to happen.
The number 10 seed is probably going to College Station, and the number 9 seed is probably going to Norman.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody has a preference on that. I doubt either team cares. They just want to be in, but that would be the.
Yeah, I mean, if I were seeding it, I would seed the winner of the head-to-head higher. But I think if they're both in, then we can all go to bed tonight or tomorrow night knowing that like the games matter, and next year we can I didn't want to end this year on a crappy note like that. I'm gonna stop you though. Okay.
Because I do think we need to talk about this. I still think there's a possibility they put Alabama in and one of Notre Dame or Miami's left out, and I don't know which one it would be.
If that happens, tomorrow's going to be more eventful.
Alabama has the best win of all those because they did go to Georgia and win. Alabama has this. Do they have the Yeah, they have the second best win of all those because they beat Vanderbilt. I guess that's not true. Miami would be the second best by beating Notre Dame. Alabama would have the third best with the Vandy win.
Yeah. I mean, here's the other thing. At no point in time does your third loss not count. Like Alabama now has 3 losses. We have to remember.
Well,
whether it happened in a conference championship
the Florida
game or not.
State loss is the one that hangs like an albatross around the neck.
Is the first 3-loss team that gets into the field going to be at the expense of 2-loss teams with a quality win? And Notre Dame doesn't have quality wins, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
what if they decide, okay, we are going to put Miami ahead of Notre Dame now, and then they just decide Alabama is too?
I finally made up with Notre Dame, and you're going to throw me right back in the shitter again, aren't you?
I'm not going to make you.
I'm going to say it.
I want you to consider the possibility that Alabama gets in.
I will, and if it's at the expense of Notre Dame, I will be fine with it. And if it's at the expense of Miami, it's a sham.
If Alabama doesn't get in, be prepared because it will be DEFCON 1 at SEC headquarters. They will be on the warpath.
It's DEFCON 1 there every year.
I know, but what I'm saying is they will work to make substantive changes to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Like redoing the criteria like they did this year?
Exactly.
Awesome.
Which is what kept Notre Dame as high as it has so far.
Yeah, so, Bama lost to FSU, who got blown out by Florida. Texas has higher strength of record than Miami, and strength of schedule is much better. Texas is the only one in the top 10. Texas
lost
is
to
out,
Billy
man.
Napier. I cannot stress this enough.
It's I appreciate the passion, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, wait. Maybe Hunter Yurachek, if they don't put Alabama in, he'll just go, "You lost to Mike Norvell."
That would be the most insightful thing the man has said.
I can't stress this enough.
But I am going to go. I don't get my own written one because it's so similar, Andy, but I'm on record. I think Alabama is out. If you're looking for my final take before we go to bed tonight, Notre Dame, Miami, and James Madison are the 3 that take those spots.
I think we may be wrong on that.
We were wrong last year. So
the more time that goes by, because it was right after the game, Alabama's definitely out, no question. I may wake up in the morning and be like, I can't believe I wrote that they're going to be out.
That's my guess. And you don't buy into this theory, but I actually do think that they're human beings, and to save themselves from making an impossible decision, they're just going to do the easy thing, which is take out the 3-loss team that lost to Florida State. It's the easiest path.
It is the easiest path. And it also, if they want to put James Madison in, then you didn't leave the ACC out. But it's not their responsibility to put the ACC in. The ACC should have had a better year.
Do you think that committee members are ever think, what's the ranking that we can put out that'll make the least amount of people angry?
No, they probably should, but I don't think that's how they do it.
So let me ask you this. What do you think that is?
The least amount of angry people? There is no
Alabama.
There is no least amount of angry people. There is no least amount. If you leave out Alabama, they'll be furious. If you leave out Miami, they'll be furious. If you leave out Notre Dame, they will be furious.
Sometimes I get I get upset at people for being in an echo chamber, and I think I'm in a national college football writer echo chamber. But I feel like if Miami doesn't go in, there will be like 27 columns saying the same exact thing about how Miami got screwed. And if Alabama doesn't get in, like no one will write that.
Oh, I think
Or people in the South.
Trust me, they'll find some people to write that.
Yeah, I just don't think
at the risk of sounding like Doug Lesmerises, they'll find some folks.
No, if Alabama gets left out, I don't think that there's a real public outrage in the sense of like somebody got screwed.
There will be real public outrage because there is a giant angry fan base to pander to.
Yeah.
If there's a giant angry fan base to pander to, someone will pander to it.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be us.
I feel like I was the first.
It'll be somebody.
I feel like I was like one of the first people to freak out about Miami. And I'm not saying I'm smart. I'm just saying like I prematurely freaked out about it because it was the first ranking. But as the week's gone on, have you seen the groundswell of people paying attention to that? Like, I feel like with Alabama, it'll be like, you might see a few columns of like, why do teams even play the conference championship game? And I saw Nicole Auerbach tweeted, the committee is going into the chambers tonight and tomorrow, and they're going to decide the future of conference championship games. I'm
Not
like,
really.
no, they're not. Like, whatever happens, happens.
If the
like,
same thing that happened to SMU happens to Alabama, Alabama will be out of the playoff and SMU is in.
and it's an important
dropping 2 spots is dropping 2 spots, but it's just a matter of where the cut line lands.
And there's also an important distinction to make from this year and last year. The teams that were on the outside looking in last year were not a 10-2 team with a quality win over a top 10 team. They were 3-loss teams.
Jeff in the chat. If you punish someone for losing a conference championship game, then you're going to destroy the conference championship games. Jeff,
Great.
They've already destroyed them. They're completely worthless now. So
Great.
Okay.
You know what I can't stand about this thought process, because I've been getting it on Twitter all evening, is if your quest to save the conference championships games is to ensure that they remain meaningless and there's no consequence for losing them, then they're already dead, bud.
Yeah.
They're already dead. Conference championship games are a cash grab for people to watch and television properties to be sold.
Yeah.
If they don't have any impact on the sport, then there's no point.
You can figure out how to put other football games on this week that make you money.
I actually think that I should write a column saying the way to save conference championship games is by punishing the loser. That way we don't have to have bullshit conversations at the end of every year. Should they want to go? Or should they not want to go? Does it matter? Like,
by the way,
make them matter again.
Georgia was happy to go.
Yeah, worked out well for them.
I take back anything I said about them maybe not wanting to go. They were quite happy to be there.
Save conference championships, making them important again.
Well, we're going to find out. I don't know if you know, but there's a guy in the chat who keeps just copy pasting that Alabama already beat Georgia this season. We're aware.
Yeah.
And they got belt to ass from Georgia today. And they also lost to Florida State by a lot. That happened too. And that's the problem. It's not that they got killed by Georgia today. It is that they got killed by Florida State to start the season. And they got killed by Georgia today. That's the bookends are the problem.
The one question I don't know, when you're on the college football playoff committee, you go there at the end of the week and watch the games together, deliberate, and then
for this one, yes.
But you go back to your regular life. Like, you don't live in Dallas.
No.
I think people view the college football playoff committee as people who are sequestered the way you would on a jury. And like, that's not the way it works. So they're out in the real world. I think they're listening to sports talk radio and reading columns. And I think that like they are influenced. So I don't know.
Yeah, they're not a jury that is sequestered for the entirety of the trial.
They're allowed to go home and watch Sports Center.
Yeah.
So,
Craig with an interesting question. Do you think if Alabama doesn't get in, would the Lane train jump to Tuscaloosa? Should Lane have waited one more game to make his decision? Here's the thing, Craig. Lane is not getting hired at Alabama. Not with the current folks that run the athletic department and also that do the donating. Lane's not getting hired there. So he probably chose wisely.
Would be great, though, if he did for our show.
And I don't think Kalen DeBoer is going anywhere. So there's that.
Yeah.
I think they're mad at him right now, but I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like Alabama season went by and large a pretty good year, right? Even if they don't make it, like there's no such thing as good year.
They better hope they never play Oklahoma again, but they will play Oklahoma.
Yeah, but like if you would have said, "Hey, Bama, you're going to be 9-3 and have those wins," like pretty good year after last year, right? But they don't think like that, so I don't know. Yeah,
they get into it's playoffs or bust,
title or bust. Yeah,
and they are going to be incredibly frustrated.
But you and I can look at it. We're not fans. We can look at it and say it was a pretty good year.
It was fine. I know it's not acceptable to them, and I understand where they're coming
Yeah.
from. So
Notre Dame, somebody said the Vegas odds for Notre Dame to make it are minus 1,000. So it's a wild number. So
we will see, because only those people in that room in Grapevine, Texas, their opinions are the only ones that matter. Ours don't. Yours don't. People on ESPN's don't. Those 12 people will decide. And we will be here at noon Eastern tomorrow. Well, noon Eastern later today.
River.
I'm kidding. To help reveal and digest and break down the matchups, because we will have a bracket at noon Eastern time. We're going to go live as soon as the show goes live. We're not going to wait for them to reveal the rankings. You will learn them with us. So just turn them down, turn us up, and we will guide you through and learn along with you and be just as surprised as you if we get any shockers. And Ari, I don't know what is going to happen. No idea.
It already feels like the Big Ten championship was yesterday.
Because it was.
We're like 20 minutes away from that being true, but you get what I'm saying.
Well,
yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow.
I still live on Eastern time. It's already Sunday, buddy.
I'm excited for tomorrow. We go back, do a little writing, get a little sleep, and we'll be right back here to go in the morning. So thanks for being here with you guys. It looked like a very lively chat. 4,500 people watching right now. That's growth, year over year, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Feel pretty good about the way the
New
show's
Orleans
going.
Ghost Hunter says, roll tide, Bama will be in. Keep crying, Andy and Ari. I really don't care. We'll talk to you at noon.